Hey there! Ready to see what's dropping next week? We've got everything from brutal ninjas and bug-sized survival to tactical SWAT raids, pixel art horror, and full-on car carnage. Whether you are into cozy hobbit life or glitchy cyber looters, this week's lineup is stacked. Let's dive in. The mid-tier lineup brings us 4 new titles coming to PC next week. Number 4. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. What happens when the brutal legacy of Ninja Gaiden meets modern pixel art brutality? You get Ragebound, a new 2D side-scrolling revival of the classic series. Developed by the indie team behind Blasphemous, the Game Kitchen, with Team Ninja Consulting, this game isn't a remake or reboot, but an untold chapter set after the original trilogy. You play as Kenji Mozu, a protege of Ryu Hayabusa, facing a fresh storyline that ties into Ninja Gaiden lore without retreading it. This is old-school action platforming dialed up to 11. The game uses a stage-based format like the NES classics, but everything is faster and bloodier. You will swap between two characters, Kenji and the Kunoichi Kumori, using a Ninja Fusion tag team system to chain together flashy combos. Combat is tight, responsive, and punishing. Expect to master techniques like animation cancelling, wall running, air dashes, and visceral execution moves. Bosses are huge, grotesque demons that will slaughter you repeatedly until you learn their patterns. It deliberately embraces 90s style difficulty. Enemies hit hard, platforming requires precision, and each mistake can be fatal. This is not a game for casual players, and it revels in that. Visually, Ragebound stands out with gritty pixel art and fuses 8-bit nostalgia with modern flair. Think demon-infested temples, fire-lit alleyways, and rain-soaked cityscapes rendered in darkly gorgeous detail. Cinematic cutscenes blend pixel art and hand-drawn illustrations to capture the grim tone of the original Ninja Gaiden games, just with more polish. The result feels like a lost 1990s arcade hit reborn for today. There's a sense that 2025 is the year of the ninja, with Ragebound landing in next week and the full 3D Ninja Gaiden 4 coming in October. For fans of hardcore action platformers like Dead Cells or Castlevania, this is a dream come true. It's brutally tough, unapologetically gory, and dripping with style, delivering the kind of rewarding ninja challenge that made the series legendary in the first place. Number 3. Frosthaven Early Access. The sequel to the acclaimed Gloomhaven board game is finally coming to PC. Bigger, colder, and yes, with an undo button. Frosthaven brings the massive tactical RPG experience from the tabletop to digital life, rewarding strategy fans and co-op dungeon crawlers alike. Developed by Snapshot Games, this adaptation translates Isaac Childress' complex, turn-based combat system without losing its depth. You command a band of mercenaries through frozen dungeons using Gloomhaven's signature card-based gameplay. Each turn you choose 2 cards per character, one for movement, one for an attack or special skill. Then resolve them anticipating enemy moves and reactions. Every decision matters, but teamwork and strategy can carry the day. As you delve into monster-infested ruins and icy caverns, you'll gather loot and gradually build up a snowbound outpost between missions. Building and upgrading this base, crafting gear, fortifying defenses, opening new buildings, adds a layer of long-term progression that wasn't in the original board game. It feels satisfying to see your little settlement thrive amid the frost. Perhaps the most welcome new feature is a generous undo system. Misclick or play the wrong card, Frosthaven lets you rewind actions even several turns back if needed. A huge relief in a game this intricate. There's also an optional gentle mode with extra health and less card loss for a more forgiving experience. Launching in early access on July 31, Frosthaven debuts with roughly a third of its enormous campaign. You start with 6 character classes, plus a couple more to unlock, and the developers plan to roll out the rest over time. You can tackle missions solo or team up with friends in online co-op, with crossplay in the works so everyone can join together. Visually, the game stays true to its roots. A top-down 3D view replicates the look of miniature figures on a tiled map, bringing snowy forests, crumbling fortresses, and eerie caves to life. Monsters and heroes animate like board game pieces come alive, while a moody orchestra score and howling winds set a tense atmosphere. If you have the patience for a deep, strategic dungeon crawl and maybe a few friends to join you, Frosthaven could become one of the year's most rewarding co-op strategy experiences. Just remember, it's an early access journey, so expect some rough edges and new content to arrive as the developers expand this icy epic. Number 2. Grounded 2. What do you get when you mix a survival crafting game, a Pixar movie, and a giant scorpion? The answer is Grounded 2, Obsidian Entertainment's sequel to their 2020 co-op hit about teens shrunk to the size of bugs. This time, the backyard adventure blows up into a full-blown battlefield. The game launches on July 29 and it's going bigger in every way, literally. The story picks up 2 years after the first Grounded. The same group of friends find themselves miniaturized, but now they are exploring a public park instead of a backyard. The new map, Brook Hollow Park, is about 3 times larger than the original and packed with diverse biomes, from a playground to a dump underground tunnels, each full of new things to discover. With the larger world come new ways to survive. You can tame and ride certain insects, even ladybugs and spiders, to cover more ground or charge into battle, and each offers unique perks. One summons its bug friends to help, another can stun enemies. Naturally, a bigger yard means bigger threats. The roster of creepy crawlies now includes scorpions and other new critters alongside the usual spiders, ants, and beetles. Nightfall is more dangerous too. When the sun sets, even harmless bugs turn aggressive and certain predators only come out after dark. Survival still revolves around gathering resources, crafting tools, and building bases with your friends, but now you can construct more elaborate, weatherproof forts. Imagine a tiny village built from grass blades and acorn shells. You will need those upgrades to withstand raids by nastier insects. Despite all the new dangers, Grounded 2 keeps its whimsical family-friendly charm. Visually, it still feels like a Pixar film come to life. Towering grass blades sway like trees, and the spilled juice box can become a lake in this miniaturized world. The tone mixes kid-friendly humor with the higher stakes. The teens joke around and their goofy robot pal Burgle returns, but a new villain and a darker conspiracy are hinted at behind the scenes. And for anyone who's arachnophobic, fear not, the Arachnophobia safe mode returns, letting you tone down the scariness of spiders. If you love survival crafting with a more imaginative twist, Grounded 2 hits that sweet spot. It's like Honey I Shrunk the Kids meets Valheim, making everyday life epic at insect scale. Number 1. Tales of the Shire. Not every Lord of the Rings game needs epic quests or battles. Sometimes you just want to stay in the Shire, tend your garden, and bake seed cakes. Tales of the Shire is exactly that, a cozy life simulation set in Middle-earth's most peaceful corner. Developed by Weta Workshop, the team behind the look of the Lord of the Rings films, and published by Private Division, it invites you to live as an ordinary hobbit in Bywater, far from any Dark Lords or magic rings. Think Animal Crossing meets Tolkien. There is no saving the world here. Your day-to-day is about simple, satisfying tasks. Farming your garden, pipeweed, potatoes, pumpkins, foraging for mushrooms and berries in the green hills, fishing in gentle streams, and cooking up hearty meals to share with neighbors. Instead of combat or grand quests, you'll run light-hearted errands like organizing a picnic, delivering a fresh-baked pie to a neighbor, or finding a lost trinket. The pace is deliberately slow and relaxing. There are no enemies, no danger, and no deadlines, just the gentle rhythms of hobbit life. A big focus is customization and creativity. You can customize your own fuzzy-footed hobbit and decorate your hobbit hole however you like. The placement of furniture is completely freeform, letting you craft a warm, cluttered home that feels truly lived in. Outside, you will watch the seasons turn and enjoy charming festivals without a worry in the world. The visuals lean into a whimsical storybook style. Rolling green hills, round-doored homes, under grassy mounds, it all looks plucked from Tolkien's pages, presented in a warm, colorful art style. Every detail feels authentic thanks to Weta's touch. The music and soundscape wrap you in comfort too. Cheerful fiddle tunes, buzzing bees, crackling hearth fires, and the friendly chatter of hobbit folk. Simply put, Tales of the Shire is a feel-good slice of Middle-earth that's perfect for fans of cozy games or anyone who has ever dreamed of living in the Shire. It's utterly wholesome and stress-free. Your biggest accomplishment might be growing a prize-winning pumpkin or throwing a delightful garden party. If you're expecting a traditional LOTR adventure with battles and epic quests, you won't find it here, and for many, that peaceful simplicity is exactly the point. For those who would love to just spend time in the Shire and savor the simple life of a hobbit, this game is a dream come true. With the mid-tier lineup covered, let's move on to the top 10 most anticipated indie releases for next week according to the watchlist. Number 10. Prospector. Prospector is a different kind of space adventure. A peaceful 2D pixel art colony builder about landing on alien worlds and building them up with automation. You'll mine strange minerals, harvest alien plants, and piece together a base from scratch. The goal isn't galactic conquest or combat, it's the simple satisfaction of turning a barren moon into a bustling colony. Imagine a laid-back version of Factorio. You begin by gathering resources yourself, then gradually automate everything. Soon your camp is buzzing with drills and smelters on conveyor belts, churning out materials as you plan the next expansion. There is no ticking clock or high-stakes combat, just the occasional pesky creature that a turret or two can fend off. As you research new tech, you'll expand your capabilities and eventually visit other planets, each with its own biome and challenges. Charming pixel art gives each planet a unique look. Perhaps glowing mushroom forests on one world, stark red deserts on another, and the mellow electronic soundtrack keeps things serene. It's a solo sandbox tailored for players who love to tinker and build at their own pace. Number 9. Day of the Shell. Day of the Shell is a compact, tactical roguelite built around a simple rule: one decisive action per turn. You play as Sam, a lone huntress navigating a chain of drowned islands to collect mystical shells and calm angry gods. Each run through these waterlogged islands is high stakes and combat is snappy, one click per turn, making battles feel like fast-paced chess puzzles. Enemies react instantly, so thinking ahead is crucial. Your trusty revolver is your main weapon, but you will gain powerful blessings that tweak your abilities. For example, one might trigger chain lightning on kills. When you inevitably fall, you return to your home island with whatever shells you gathered. These shells can be spent on permanent upgrades, new perks or stat boosts, so you grow stronger each time. Visually and tonally, Day of the Shell stands out. It has a lo-fi PS1 aesthetic, chunky low poly figures, eerie lighting, and half-sunken ruins evoking classic survival horror vibes. The mood is quiet and haunting, reinforced by a subtle, melancholic soundtrack. If you are up for fast, cerebral combat in a somber atmosphere, Day of the Shell is a poignant challenge that sticks with you. Number 8. Primal Planet. Primal Planet is a one-of-a-kind 2D adventure that mixes a dinosaur apocalypse with alien sci-fi. You play as a Stone Age warrior trying to survive among ferocious dinos using only spears, traps, and your wits, until you stumble upon mysterious alien technology that changes everything. Gameplay unfolds like a classic Metroidvania. You explore sprawling prehistoric landscapes from jungles to caves and gain new abilities to gear that open up previously unreachable areas. But Primal Planet also weaves in survival elements. You gather materials to craft weapons and tools, and you're often better off sneaking or setting traps than taking on a Triceratops head-on. You're not invincible, so stealth and clever use of the environment often trump brute force. When you do have to fight, Primal Planet delivers, especially in spectacular boss battles against giant dino foes enhanced with alien tech that demand all your skills. On the presentation side, Primal Planet shines with beautiful pixel art and fluid animation. The look evolves from bright and earthy to eerie and neon-lit as the alien influence spreads. The soundtrack follows suit, shifting from tribal drums to synth beats, perfectly capturing the game's blend of prehistoric and futuristic. Number 7. Mecharashi. If you've been waiting for a modern front mission style game, Mecharashi has you covered. It's a turn-based mech tactics RPG, free-to-play, that's all about building your own giant robots and sending them into strategic battles. You can swap out every part of your mechs, legs, arms, weapons, armor, to tailor each unit to your playstyle. On the battlefield, that depth shows. Careful positioning and targeting matter, because you can actually cripple enemies by destroying specific parts, blow off a foe's gun arm to disarm it, or bust its legs to halt its advance. Beyond the deep customization and tactics, Mecharashi offers multiple ways to play. There's a full single-player campaign with an anime-style story and cutscenes, as well as online co-op raids and PvP arena battles. Combat is flashy. When you fire a rocket or unleash a special move, the camera zooms in with cinematic flair to show your mech blasting away in vivid 3D. The art style leans into classic mecha anime vibes, and the sleek presentation makes every clash feel exciting. If you love tinkering with tech and division tactics, Mecharashi delivers a robust mech battler without asking a dime to start playing. Number 6. Nightclub Simulator Early Access. Nightclub Simulator is a Zen co-op management game that's basically overcooked in a nightclub. You and your friends renovate a rundown bar and then try to keep it running once the party starts. During the day, you will clean, repair and decorate your club, pick the music theme, set up lights and speakers, and make the place presentable. But when the night falls and the doors open, all bets are off. The dance floor fills up and chaos ensues. You will be frantically mixing cocktails, DJing tracks, unclogging toilets, tossing out troublemakers, and mopping up spills, often all at once. Teamwork and quick communication are key because things can be spiral into hilarious disaster if you are not coordinated. The gameplay is full of random surprises. One minute you're restocking the bar, the next a fight breaks out or the power suddenly blows, plunging your club into darkness. As you survive each night and earn cash, you can upgrade your club with better equipment and outrageous new features. The visuals are polished with colorful lights and a dynamic soundtrack that reacts to the crowd. If you and your friends are up for some chaotic fun, this game is a total blast. Number 5. Recharge Early Access. If you ever spend weekends racing RC cars or playing classic games like Revolt, Recharge will hit your nostalgia hard. It's a realistic RC racing simulator that lets you build, tune, and race tiny radio-controlled cars across life-sized environments. Think of it as Gran Turismo for RC vehicles, complete with deep customization and physics that make every jump and turn feel authentic. Recharge emphasizes skills and precision over arcade gimmicks. You're driving 1 to 10 scale cars, but the handling is surprisingly lifelike. Suspension matters when you hit a bump, tire choice affects grip on dirt versus asphalt, and you can't just floor it on every corner without flipping your car. There are no goofy power-ups or rubber banding AI here. If you crash or mistime a jump, you'll lose precious seconds, though a quick reset button can flip you back on your wheels. Races take you through backyards, skate parks, forest trails, and more. Each setting brings different terrain and challenges. Where Recharge really shines is customization. You start with a basic RC car, but nearly every component can be upgraded or swapped. Want to turn your car into a drift machine or an off-road beast? Change the motor, adjust the suspension stiffness, swap out tires, and tweak the gear ratios. You can even change the body shell and paint job to make your ride uniquely yours, whether that's a sleek buggy, a monster truck, or a touring car with a flashy livery. For hardcore enthusiasts, Recharge goes a step further. It supports actual RC transmitters with a USB adapter, so you can drive using the same controller you'd use for a real RC car for extra authenticity. The tracks might be small, but they look great. Grass bends under your wheels, puddles splash, and racing at night under streetlights feel really cool. The sound design also adds a lot. You can hear the motors buzzing and graving crunching as you drive. Right now, Recharge includes time trials, stunt challenges, and online races for up to 12 players. And more is coming, like a track editor and crossplay during early access. Number 4. Heartworm. In an era of high-definition horror games, Heartworm deliberately looks backward, and in doing so creates something uniquely haunting. This indie survival horror adventure is styled like a lost PlayStation 1 game, complete with low poly graphics, fixed camera angles, and a very retro vibe. But underneath the pixelated aesthetics lies a personal, emotional story about grief and letting go. You play as Sam, a young woman mourning her grandfather's death. Her search for closure leads her to a remote, supposedly haunted house in the mountains, a place rumored to be a doorway to the afterlife. The gameplay will feel familiar if you've played classics like Silent Hill or Resident Evil. You explore eerie rooms, collect and use key items, solve puzzles, and read notes that gradually reveal the narrative. One big difference is the lack of combat. Sam's only weapon is an old Polaroid camera. In the rare moments a house ghost manifests, a quick camera flash can momentarily fend it off. But those encounters are few and far between. Most of the time, the tension comes from the atmosphere, creaking floorboards, distant whispers, and the uneasy feeling that something unseen is observing you from the shadows. Heartworm nails its presentation. The graphics faithfully emulate the late 90s look. Chunky polygons, pixelated textures, 4x3 frames, and even optional CRT scanlines to complete the 90s look. At the same time, it uses modern lighting and effects to ramp up the dread. The cinematic camera angles keep you on edge. One moment you are watching Sam from a high corner like a security cam, then the view switches to behind a crack in a door as if something is peeking at her. The sound design is minimal but chilling. Dripping water, static, and faint voices in the distance with only occasional somber music. Don't expect jump scare thrills or gory action here. Heartworm is more interested in getting under your skin. It's a slow burn horror experience that pays homage to the classics while telling an intimate story of its own. It's a compact journey, around 5 hours, with multiple endings that reward careful exploration. For fans of retro survival horror and narrative-driven spooky games, Heartworm offers a quietly haunting experience. Number 3. Terminull Brigade. Ever wish Hades had guns and you could play it with friends? Terminull Brigade might be your jam. This free-to-play third-person shooter blends roguelike progression with hero-based co-op action, all robed in a flashy neon cyberpunk style. The premise: you and up to 3 buddies are Rogeteers diving into corrupted digital worlds, the Nullverse, to take down rogue AIs and snag some epic loot. Each run is a fast-paced raid through random levels. You will fight off enemies, dodge attacks, and team up with your squad to use special powers. Wipe out and the run's over, but every attempt earns you resources to unlock permanent upgrades and new playable characters so you come back stronger. Combat is fast, chaotic, and ridiculously fun when your squad gets in sync. Imagine a mashup of Risk of Rain 2 and Overwatch. One hero might deploy a shield dome, while another rains rockets and the third teleports behind enemies to deal damage. There are multiple character classes: offense, defense, support, etc., each with unique powers and ultimate attacks, so teamwork and timing make a big difference, especially during the boss fights at the end of each run. And of course, there's a ton of loot. As you mow down glitches and cyber monsters, you will collect new guns and mods that can widely alter your playstyle. One run, you might find a mod that makes enemies explode on death, chain reaction everywhere. Another time you will get bullets that heal your squad. Discovering crazy synergies is a big part of the appeal. Outside of runs, the game has a hub area where you can craft or upgrade gear, practice with characters, and socialize. Being a live service game, Terminull Brigade features daily challenges, battle pass style progression, and plans for regular content updates. Visually, it leans hard into the cyber theme: vibrant, Tron-like grids, glitchy holograms, and thumping synthwave soundtrack that makes every firefight feel like a rave. The best part: it's free to jump in, monetization sticks to cosmetics. So assembling a squad and trying a few runs is totally hassle-free. If you're into co-op looter shooters or roguelikes like Risk of Rain, this one's definitely worth a shot. Number 2. SWAT Commander Early Access. If methodical, realistic, tactical shooters are your thing, keep an eye on SWAT Commander. Developed by a small team from Ukraine, this game is essentially a modern love letter to SWAT 4 and early Rainbow Six. Instead of run-and-gun action, it's all about slow, careful planning and teamwork as you lead a 5-man SWAT squad through tense, objective-based missions. Each mission begins with a briefing and gear selection. You will analyze the building layout, assign roles, breacher or sniper, and decide on a plan of entry before anyone even steps through the door. When it's go time, you can issue commands to your AI teammates or coordinate with friends in co-op to execute the perfect breach and clear. Stack up at a door, toss in a flashbang, secure the hostages, and take down suspects with as little force as necessary. That's the ideal outcome, but it's easier said than done when things go sideways. SWAT Commander prides itself on realism. One wrong move, like kicking down a door without checking for traps or failing to cover a blind spot, can get your team killed or lead to civilian casualties. Mission failed. Enemy AI is unpredictable and dangerous. Some will surrender if you shout and advance carefully, while others might panic or open fire when you least expect it. The game rates you on how tactical you are. If you just rush in shooting, you'll get a low score or fail the mission. It forces you to slow down, communicate, and make split-second judgments under pressure. Environments range from cramped apartments and convenience stores to expansive mansions and office buildings, each presenting its own tactical puzzle. Multiple entry points, civilians in the mix, tricky sightlines, etc. The lighting and sound make it really tense. You'll be sneaking through dark halls, using a camera to check under doors, while hearing distant screams or a gun being cocked nearby. It's intense, heart-pounding stuff. In early access, it has a few rough edges and limited missions so far, but the devs are actively improving it. If you like planning missions and working as a team, SWAT Commander is for you. Just watch your corners and don't shoot unless you have to. Number 1. FUMES Early Access. Remember the car combat games of the late 90s? Twisted Metal, Vigilante 8, Interstate 76? FUMES is like a love letter to that explosive era dragged into the modern day. Developed by a tiny 4-person team, FUMES is a single-player, open-world, vehicular combat game that drops you into a sprawling desert wasteland with one simple goal: strap ridiculous weapons to a rusted-out car and blow everything to Kingdom Come. It's in early access, but fans are already buzzing that this could be the comeback the genre needed. The game nails the feel of classic car combat. The driving physics are purposely a bit loose and wild. Your car drifts and slides as you barrel through dunes and ruins, giving it a chaotic arcade vibe. Combat is constant and over the top. You'll outfit your ride with machine guns, rockets, flamethrowers, and more, then face off against roaming gangs in armored buggies and war trucks. Enemy drivers will ram you, flank you, and try to blow you up just as enthusiastically as you're trying to do the same to them. Expect dramatic high-speed chases, big fireball explosions, and twisted wrecks flying everywhere. There are story missions sprinkled throughout, like escorting convoys or taking out a gang leader, but a lot of the fun is just cruising the open desert looking for trouble. What's really refreshing is FUME's approach to modern gaming. Despite being free-roaming and pretty polished, it doesn't bother with microtransactions or any live service nonsense. The developers even put a cheeky note on their store page: "No microtransactions, enough of this bullcrap." Instead, you unlock new cars and weapons simply by playing, blow up enemies, collect their scrap, and use it to upgrade your vehicle or grab a new ride from the junkyard. The progression feels old school and satisfying. The desert might seem empty at first, but it's the perfect sandbox for vehicular mayhem. What you see is what you get with FUMES. It's all about driving fast, blowing up things, and having a blast, no filler, no fluff. If you've been craving a return to classic car combat, hop in, hit the gas, and enjoy the chaos. This is no frills, all thrills, arcade action, just like the good old days. And that's your weekly gaming radar. 14 fresh titles across every genre, from pixelated nightmares to chaotic co-op madness. Whether you're into stealth, strategy, or just blowing stuff up, next week's got something for you. If you want to see more like this, hit subscribe. I'll be back with another roundup next week.